Welcome. Thank you for attending Client Connect Module 1 training. In Client Connect Module 1 training, we're going to be talking about the Client Connect system, what it is, what it's for. I'm going to give you a little guided tour through all our Module 1 pieces. We'll be looking at specifically today at the dashboard, at your profile. We'll be looking at Google Apps syncing, which I'll be talking more about. We'll be looking at how to add contacts. You've got the chat box and question boxes if you'd like to type in questions. Aliki, I see your question about username and password, and I am prepared to answer that because we need that to get started. First of all, the website you need to go to is called ccsignon.com. It will redirect you to this longer address I have, but just so you can see the full address, here's ccsignon.com. And when you go to ccsignon.com, you'll be redirected to this site, which says Tribus, and there's a username password section. I do want to let you know that the word Tribus refers to the vendor of this software. Client Connect is our branded iteration of this software. Tribus is the name of the software vendor, and that's why you're going to see that name throughout the system here. Just think of them as being interchangeable, both one and the same. Now, to log in, your username is just like WebTop. So you're going to type in your first name, a dot, and your last name. So Aliki, pursuant to your question, that would be your first name, a dot, and your last name. I'm not going to use your account, and don't worry. The password you're going to use for this is 2014connect. I'm going to open up a separate box here so I can put that information on the screen for you. Username, first name, dot, last name. Your password is 2014connect. This is what you'll use to log in. So back at your CC Sign-On login screen, go ahead and enter your first name, a dot, and your last name, and password 2014connect. I'm using a demo account from an agent by the name of Mike Howard. So I'm going to enter Mike.Howard. If this is your first time logging in, you'll see a couple of slight variations from what you see on my screen. Now on my screen, I have a custom dashboard, which means I moved things around and customized it a little bit. When you first log in, you may very well see a badge. It will say you've earned a badge, and essentially that's a reward for logging in. You'll see badges for different activities throughout the system. You get little rewards for engaging in Client Connect tasks like logging in, adding contacts, starting marketing campaigns, all kinds of fun stuff. So when you see the badge notification, you may skip it or you may post it to your profile. Go ahead and hit the Post to My Profile button, and that allows everybody to see what badges you have collected. You can see down in my dashboard there's a summary of the different badges I've reached for achieving certain levels and certain numbers of logins and so forth. Once you've collected your badge, you may also be asked to confirm your time zone. The time zone drop-down will default to Los Angeles time zone, which is fine. It's the same longitude as us. So you'll go ahead and click Save at that point. Once you've cleared that hurdle, you will be brought to your dashboard, which again is going to look a little bit like mine, but a little bit different. I just have a couple of different things going on. And I want to talk a little bit about what the dashboard is, what it reflects, and how it ties into the purpose of this whole system that we are using. The Client Connect system is a business management platform. So what that means is there's items in here that deal with every facet and aspect of your real estate business. So at your dashboard, for example, you can see your upcoming meetings, your calendar is there, your tasks to be completed, activities pertaining to things you've been doing. There are other components to the dashboard which are not present yet, but will be coming along as we develop them. And those components will allow you to see different things pertaining to your business. So for example, we will be getting a Planet RE plugin which will allow you to track open escrows. You can do business planning. There is a marketing summary which will show you the status of your marketing campaigns. So in other words, when you've set up an email campaign, you'll be able to see an item on the dashboard in the form of a bar graph, which will show you, here's how many emails have been sent out on your campaign. Here's how many emails have been opened up and read. Here's how many emails have been bounced back. Summaries of all these different types of activities. The idea behind a business management system is similar to what you've seen and or heard about in, say, Top Producer or Salesforce.com. Systems like that that take a holistic view that allow you to manage all aspects of your business. WebTop did certain marketing tasks and whatnot, but it never quite had the promise of a Top Producer or Salesforce.com style environment. And that is what we are bringing to you with this Client Connect system. So the dashboard allows you to see everything that's happening. You can configure your dashboard by, for example, clicking and dragging and moving things around. You can customize the look and the layout and arrangement of components of your dashboard simply by clicking and dragging, which is kind of nice. You may remember in WebTop you had a customizable home screen, but it took many clicks to make it look the way you wanted. So you have a lot more flexibility here. You can add in different pieces of information with the use of the Add Portlet button, which will display all available portlets. There's not a whole lot in there now. The marketing ones aren't there yet, and the transaction management ones aren't there just yet. But you can add in different components, and that's what adding portlets is for. And then you can move the portlets around, or you can configure the specific items to, say, enter new tasks or to enter calendar appointments, that kind of thing. You can even make a custom dashboard. I have a couple of different ones here that just deal with different aspects of the business. So, for example, you might have a dashboard that deals with just your open tasks, and you might have a variety of task layouts so that you could see, for example, my tasks for today, but also my tasks for all week and my tasks for the whole month on one screen. You might have a different dashboard that deals simply with the marketing activities to see how your campaigns are doing and so forth. You might have a dashboard that just deals with your open transactions. So you can have dashboards for specific items. Now, from the dashboard, now that you've got that concept under your belts, you may, if you wish, move things around, as I said, or even make a new dashboard. But the next thing we want to do is to look at your profile. Your profile can be found at the upper right of your screen. Look for your name at the upper right and click on it. And you're going to see a few choices underneath that. One of them is to sign out, which I don't want you to do at this time, but I do want you to be aware that you should sign out anytime you're using the system on a shared workstation in your office. And that goes for your personal mail accounts and so forth. I mention this because I can't count the number of times I walked up to a shared workstation in the office, typed in gmail.com, and been brought to somebody else's inbox. So you don't want that, and you do want to sign out of these things when you're done with them. When you're on a shared workstation. If you're on your own machine, of course, it's okay, but there's a lot of shared workstations in the office, so make sure you sign out. That's my housekeeping point for today. Now, under your name, look for the link that says My Profile. Click on that, and I'm going to take you to a couple of other items here we're going to talk about. The first of which is your contact information. This contact information was copied over from WebTop. So whatever contact phone numbers you had in there, whatever street address you had in there, that has been pulled over from WebTop. And often the street address that shows up is just your home address because that's what you entered when you first signed up with us. So I would like you to look for the Edit button up above, and I'd like you to click on that and make any changes that you need to make to your contact information, and check a couple of other things down below. So your name, your phone number, your email address. We want to use your company email address for now. We'll be talking a little more about this when we get to Google Apps and so forth. And for those of you who are simply forwarding your BHG home email to another address or using a custom domain with your marketing, all of that is fine. And you will be able to send emails with a different return address if you want to continue using the custom domain or what have you. But use your company email address for the time being, your bhghome.com or your winecountrygroup.com. Just leave it as it is. So make your contact information changes, scroll down to the bottom of the screen. A couple of other things to note. There's a field called IDX Agent ID and license number. Don't touch those, just leave them as they are. If they're blank, leave them empty. If they have data in them, leave the data in there. IDX Agent ID, for example, is a number that is assigned to you to use the IDX broker service, which is what we're going to be using for our saved property searches and MLS access and all that good stuff. So do leave that alone, but then scroll down toward the bottom and ensure that language is set to English if it isn't. Make sure that currency is set to US dollars if it isn't. And then go ahead and click on Save. And that is step one of your profile update. Now another thing, you'll notice I have a custom photo in here, a kind of silly looking stick figure guy. But the point of this is that we will be copying over your agent photos that exist in WebTop. So you don't have to add a photo here if you're happy with the one that's in WebTop. Now if you would like to upload a custom photo and you click on the Change Profile Picture link, you'll notice a reference to this system called Gravatar. And Gravatar is what we use to populate your photo here in Client Connect. Gravatar is another website, and I'm going to switch over to it for just a second so you can see. And what the Gravatar service allows you to do is to upload your photo, and when you upload that photo, it's going to generate a web address for that photo. Then all you have to do is take the web address of the photo and plop it into any networking or profile websites that accept web addresses for photos, which many of them do. It's a very convenient way of having a one-stop shop for your photo. It means you don't have to have the computer in front of you that has the photo on it. And you can use this service for other real estate sites, for example, like Zillow and Trulia. And it's free. So you sign up for a Gravatar account. They may also prompt you to also get a WordPress account, but you can skip that portion and just use Gravatar. All of this is just if you want to upload a new photo into the Client Connect system. Again, if you're happy with the photo that is in WebTop, then just leave it because we'll be copying that over for you. The next item I'd like you to take a look at here in the Profile section is the Change Password button. This is how you can change the password for your Client Connect account. Again, your default password is 2014 Connect, but you may use this button to change the password to one of your choosing. Now, if you do choose to take that step, we are advising that you change the password to match whatever your bhghome.com or winecountrygroup.com email address password is set to. Make them one and the same. The reason for that is we're going to have single sign-on, which means you just sign in once and you're in both places, Google Apps and Client Connect. And if you change your password and forget what it is, you will have to contact our help desk to get it reset, which is okay. But make a note of it if you do change it. Otherwise, you can leave it on the default. The next button over is your configuration button. And there's a couple of items I'd like you to take a look at in there. Under configuration, when you point at that button, the first link you're going to see below it is General. Go ahead and select General. And you'll see, among other things, some nice color schemes that you can use instead of whatever the defaults are. The first items up deal with how much information can be displayed on a page. So, for example, if you have 100 contacts and you want to see them all on one page, you can make that change so that they are all displayed by default. I would leave these values at the default for the time being while the system is still getting moving. But you may select a different color and texture if it isn't locked out. You'll notice some of these colors and textures have locks next to them. You probably have more locks next to yours than I do in my account because I've unlocked more of them. And how do you unlock these nice color schemes and textures, you may ask? Well, you have to earn more badges. That's right. Just like when you logged in and got a badge, you're going to get badges for doing other things, as I mentioned, which allow you to do cool things like unlock color schemes. And a color scheme may not seem like the most exciting prize, but the idea is to pester your managers to offer some cool prizes and incentives for earning more badges. So feel free to advocate a contest from your manager for earning badges. A couple more things down below here. The second to last item is very important, and it should default to this button, Owner. The section is called Who Can Read and Write Default. And you are the owner of everything you put in. So you want this to be selected to Owner. The second item is a place where we can select teams and groups. And that is handy for when you are part of a real estate team and you want to, for example, share a list of contacts. And we'll get into how to do that a little later on down the road. For now, you want to make sure that this is set to Owner if it has defaulted to something else. The selection Me sounds good. You might think I'm me, so I should select that, but you have to resist that temptation because that isn't the correct setting. You are the owner. Set it to Owner if it isn't. And after you've picked a nice color scheme and ensured that this has been set to Owner, go ahead and click Save down at the bottom. Very good. So back at the profile screen at the upper portion of the screen, we're going to go back to the configuration button, and we're going to talk about the fourth item down. It's called Google Apps Configuration. Now, for those of you who aren't clear on this term, Google Apps refers to an enterprise or business level Google account. And it's similar to what you get when you sign up for a free personal Gmail address, but it's better. You get more stuff. The Google Apps has been employed by our company and is subsidized by us to bring you more functionality than you would get in an ordinary free Gmail account. For example, if you sign up for a personal Gmail address, you get, I think, 15 gigabytes of storage for your email and for your Google Drive. With a Google Apps account, such as you have here with BHG Home or WineCountryGroup.com, you get double that storage. You get 30 gigabytes. And you get the ability to synchronize your contacts and your calendar appointments with the Client Connect system. So that's some of the benefits that you get with a Google Apps account. Now go ahead and select the Google Apps configuration choice from that configuration button. And then what we're going to do, we're going to have you enter your BHG Home email address or your Wine Country Group email address for those of you in the appropriate regions. And again, don't enter your personal Gmail address here because it won't work. A free personal Gmail account does not support the contact and calendar syncing that Google Apps account does. And that allows you to sync your contacts and appointments with your Client Connect. So what this means to you is when you have the BHG Home or Wine Country Group Google Apps account configured on your phone, which is easy to do, and you're out and about and you just have your phone, and let's say you meet a prospect or a possible client or a lead or whatever you want to call them, and you want to store that person's information. You can enter that person's information into your phone, and that information will sync back into the Client Connect system here where you can then put them on a marketing campaign. So for example, you might have a campaign set up in Client Connect to send a welcome introductory message to any new prospect. Something that says, welcome, it was nice meeting you, please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you with your property transaction. And that same campaign you might have set up to send a reminder message a week later and another one a month later after that. You get to pick the frequency of such messages in your campaigns, which is what we're going to be talking about in Module 2 training. But in order to pave the way for that process, we want to get you started with the syncing right now. And again, if you haven't been checking this BHG Home or WineCountryGroup.com email address directly, if you just have it forwarding somewhere else, that's okay. But we're going to set you up for this synchronization so that you can see the benefits and the advantages it offers you. And if you're using Microsoft Outlook, or if you're backing up to iCloud, or if you have some fancy configuration that is working for you but you're afraid to mess with it, please don't worry. All we're doing right here is we're allowing Client Connect and your BHG Home or Wine Country Group email address to share information. So go ahead and enter that email address and then check the boxes for syncing your meetings, syncing in your contacts. We're going to let Tribus or Client Connect be the winner in any conflict. So that just means if there's a conflict, the Tribus system takes priority. And you will have more information in your contacts on the Client Connect Tribus side than you will on the Google Apps side, because in Client Connect you have your description grouping tags. So that's where you have, buyer, seller, firefighter, stamp collector, all those kinds of descriptive terms. So let Tribus be the winner in a conflict. Check the boxes that say delete meetings from Tribus, delete meetings from Google, delete contacts from Tribus, delete contacts from Google. So what that does is it's just telling the system, hey, if I delete an item in one place, I want you to delete the corresponding item over in the other place. So that way your lists match up exactly. There's no disparity. There's no discrepancy. When you delete an item in one place, the same item deletes in the other place. So check all the boxes and go ahead and click on Save. Another benefit of having the syncing set up, for example, here's another example that goes in the other direction. One of our users who's been testing the system enters leads into the contact section of Client Connect. She gets these leads, I think, from door knocking or from cold calling or just people she meets or whatever. But she enters the leads' names and phone numbers and email addresses into the Client Connect system. That information synchronizes back to her phone. And what that means is when one of those leads calls her, the person's name appears on the phone. So she knows exactly which leads are responding to her entreaties. So syncing benefits you going both directions. Now once you've hit save, you're going to see this message, please connect to Google Apps and allow Tribus to access and edit your Google data. And there's a green button that says connect to Google. Go ahead and click on that. You will be brought out to Google where you want to sign in to your BHG Home or winecountrygroup.com email account. Now, it is possible that if you were in a personal Gmail account, that at this point the browser will show you you're in your personal account up at the upper right. So if you're not seeing just the login screen, if you see your personal Gmail address up at the upper right, what you want to do is click on it, and then you want to select Add Account, because you can be signed into multiple Google accounts. But you do need to be signed into your company email account to accomplish this syncing. So enter your password for your BHG Home or Wine Country Group email Google Apps account. If you do not remember that password, you can always get the help desk to assist you with resetting it. Once you've signed in to your account, you will see some prompts. 4 prompts. This app would like to know who you are on Google, view your email address, manage your calendars, manage your contacts. So again, that's giving permission for Google Apps to share information with Client Connect, so you can take advantage of the wonderful benefits of syncing. So when you see these 4 pieces and you see your BHG Home or Wine Country Group email address at the upper right, you're in the right place. Again, if it's your personal address, you can click on that address and you can click on Add Account, and then you can log into your BHG Home or Wine Country Group email address. So once you see your company email address at the right, you see these 4 manage prompts, go ahead and click on Accept. And you'll be brought back to Client Connect, and you will get this happy message which says Tribus is authorized to access and update data in your Google account. Hooray, you have accomplished syncing, and now you may enjoy the benefits of having Client Connect and Google Apps share your calendar appointments and your contacts. So you can put in as many people as you like on the phone when you're out and about. Those people will sync back into your Client Connect account, and you can put them on a campaign, have it send welcome messages, have it send them birthday e-card greeting, all that kind of good stuff. So that is syncing. And what we're going to do next, there's another step that we want to take to ensure the syncing process. The way we do that is to set up a group within your Google Apps email. The reason for this is because you don't necessarily want all the names and addresses in your Google Apps contact list to sync over. A lot of times what happens is you respond to a Craigslist ad or something, and you get a bunch of emails in there that really aren't contacts, or you have vendors, contractors, other agents, people for whom it's not entirely appropriate to have in your Client Connect account. So what you want to do is open up another tab or another window and just go to Gmail. If you're at the Google screen, you can just go to the mail link, or you can type in gmail.com in your address bar. And when you've logged into your company Google email account, you will see messages in your inbox. What you want to do is look over on the left. There's a drop down. You start at mail by default, but when you click on that mail link, you'll see your second choice down is called contacts. And that's where you're going to see whatever contacts are associated with your BHG Home or Wine Country Group email address. So I have my demo clients. Of course, they're all fictitious in this example. You may have no names in there at all. If you don't see any names, you can always click on New Contact on the left, and you may add yourself as a contact, or a friend, or spouse, or loved one. Or you can make up a name. The key is to get some name in there so that you can see the grouping icon. The grouping icon is up above, and when you point at it, it says Groups. Now, when you click on Groups, what you want to do is select Create New Group. And you are going to create a new group, and you are going to call it Tribus, T-R-I-B-U-S. And click OK. I already have a Tribus group set up, and you can see it there on the left, and this is telling me I have 3 contacts in my Tribus group. You'll notice the My Contacts list has more names, and again, that's because you don't necessarily want every name in your contact list to sync over. If you do want every name to sync over, that's no problem. You can select everybody here, or you can just select names onesie-twosie. But whatever names you've selected, you now want to go back to that grouping icon, and you want to select that Tribus group that you just set up and associate these contacts with that group. You can see here that I've added 3 more contacts to my Tribus group, and I can see on the right that these people are in that group. If you have other groupings set up in this contact list, no problem. Every contact can belong to as many groups as you wish. Tribus is simply one of them in this example. But those names will now sync back to your Client Connect account, and you can put them on marketing campaigns and all that good stuff. So setting up that Tribus group within Google Apps is an essential step because, again, we don't necessarily want everybody in the contact list. We just want to pick and choose. So establish the Tribus group in your Google Apps account, and then you get to pick who goes into that group, and those names will sync back into your Client Connect account. You're all set with that example. Let's go back to our Client Connect environment. Open up another tab or window if you lost it, and go back to ccsignon.com. I'm going to just summarize it one more time. ccsignon.com, username, first name, last name, password 2014 connect for default. Or if you're back in your Client Connect account, you can go to the home page by clicking home, or you can even click on the Client Connect logo at the upper left. That'll always bring you back to your starting place. You'll also notice other discoveries as you go along. Congratulations, you've discovered the, say, SUV or whatnot. This is something like that badge system we talked about at the beginning where you got a badge for logging in. You discover items as you go along. we'll look at the leaderboard in a few minutes where you can see a summary of everything you've earned. This is just another part of the gamification concept that drives you to engage your Client Connect account more and to do more activities and engage in more stuff. But the next exercise I want to take you through is the manual creation of a contact. And the reason for this is there's an additional benefit to having your names here in Client Connect, in addition, of course, to the marketing campaigns and all that exciting stuff, which we're going to really get into in Module 2. But there's a very specific benefit to having names here in Client Connect. So for this exercise, what I'd like you to do is look on the left under Contacts, click on Contacts, and we're going to add a contact manually. If you don't have any names in here yet, you may see a quotation from a famous person in the middle of the screen, and there should be a green button that says Create Contact. Or if you do have names in here, go ahead and hit Create up above. And we're going to add in a contact manually. And I have a specific one I want you to add for this exercise. It is our good friend, Rich Casto. So type in his name under first and last. Last name is Casto, C-A-S-T-O, not Castro. But add in that name. And then down here where it says primary email, I want you to type in a specific address, which is rich.casto@yahoo.com. Once you've entered that information, go ahead and click on Save down at the bottom. And this is what you should see. And if you don't see that, if you made a typo in his name in the email address or something, go back to Options and select Edit, and you can make the change and resave. But this is the result you should see. And the result is kind of interesting because it's showing us a lot of things about this person. What it's done is it has scoured the internet for any information that is connected to this email address, and it's come back with this picture. So he's got a profile picture somewhere that's associated with this email address. I didn't have that picture. I didn't upload it. And we've also got social networking icons. So now it's possible to go to this person's Twitter feed, go to his Facebook page, look at his Yahoo profile or any of these other social networking logos that appear here, and you can connect with this person in a myriad of ways. Take a look at this button here. It's called Rapleaf Data. This is going to give you even more exciting information about this person. You click on that button and you get this data. And this data is gleaned from records such as those that you find on, say, credit applications. The parent company is a Spokio, I believe, that deals with this kind of demographic information. And you have to take it with a grain of salt to some extent. Rich himself will disavow the accuracy of some of this information. And you know how it goes with credit applications. People might put a gigantic income on there in hopes of getting a higher credit line. I'm sure none of us has ever done that. But it's interesting information in that it gives us some kind of sense of what this person, where they are in their life and where they're coming from and maybe where they're going. Length of residence. So this tells us they've owned their home for between 16 and 19 years. Maybe they're thinking about moving up or moving out or downsizing or empty nests or what have you. So all this kind of information gives you a lot more insights into the people you're working with and prospecting to and what have you. So take a look at that data for all your contacts that you enter. Now, another important point just while we're on this notion of contacts, your contacts that are in your WebTop account are going to be copied over for you. We will take care of that on the back end. We will be bringing in all your WebTop contacts from WebTop, most likely in the next few weeks. So I would advise that you go into your WebTop client lists and maybe clean them up a little, look for old names you don't need anymore, or if there's duplicates or what have you. It's never a bad time to clean up your list, so go ahead and take a look at your WebTop client list and give that a little polish in anticipation of having them moved over here to Client Connect for you. You could also import names into Client Connect, or if you have the syncing set up, you may import names into Google. I like importing into Google because they have this very handy feature under the button that says More. It's called Find and Merge Duplicates. And that allows you to really clean up a list that has a lot of duplicate information, secondary and tertiary versions of the same person or whatnot. So you can merge all that contact data into one, and then if you put those cleaned up names into your Tribus group, they will sync back into your contacts list here in Client Connect. Client Connect is working on a find and merge duplicates feature too, I believe, that should be coming soon. But those are your options as far as bringing in people. So you will be able to import lists from other systems. If you have a personal Gmail address, for example, that you might like to take the contacts out of and put into here, Google makes it very easy to export names out of one account. They will ask you, do you want to just export selected, or you want to do a certain group, or do you want to do the whole shebang? You keep it in what they call Google CSV format. Save the file to your desktop or somewhere you can find it easily. Switch over to your BHG home account and then just reverse the process. Go to More and go to Import and point to that file that you created a minute ago from the personal account and pull in the people and then put them in the Tribus group so they can be synced over so you can put them on exciting marketing campaigns and such. And the same applies to other email addresses, Yahoo, I think even AOL. If you have names in Top Producer and you're thinking of dumping it because you can now take advantage of Client Connect for that kind of marketing and tracking, all of those systems have a way of exporting names out, and you can import them into here. And remember, for those of you who are worried about the confidentiality of your contact data here in Client Connect, this is considered your data. We're not interested in looking at your data or your names or marketing to them or anything like that. Google doesn't, we don't. We want you to feel secure in using this system, so please put your contacts in. So export out of any other system, or even if you just have a list of names on an Excel spreadsheet, that can be imported in as well. Once you've exported names out of whatever system you have that you'd like to bring them into Client Connect or into your Google Apps, you can certainly contact our help desk and we can assist you with those imports. And then once you get names into your Client Connect, you can see all kinds of exciting things about them based on whatever primary email address you've entered. It doesn't check the secondary email address. That's another box you saw when we were entering in the client information. It only checks the primary, and if it comes back with none of these icons, it may very well just mean that it hasn't found any Facebook profiles or what have you that are associated with that address. So you can, if you have more than one email address for a person, you may have to try a couple of them in the primary address field in order to see all this exciting background information. Here's another thing you can do real quick for your contacts. The little lock button at the upper right of a contact allows you to open up the screen to change the layout. Once you've opened up the screen, you can add in a portlet. This is kind of like that dashboard concept. So you click on Add Portlet, and what you do is you select the Saved Searches portlet and the Saved Properties portlet. I already have that one up here. So now I can immediately see my clients' saved searches and any properties that they've saved. Again, this isn't turned on just yet because we haven't started the property search portion. But that is how you can see that information. Then you can click the little lock to lock down layout, and now you'll get even more valuable summaries of what your clients have been doing every time you go to their detail screens. So that is some of what you get just from adding contacts here into Client Connect, and hopefully that'll inspire you to start bringing in some names and emails. And this will be a good time to bring in the names and emails again so that when we start the Module 2 training for marketing, we'll have some people to experiment with. And the marketing training will consist of looking at templates and e-card communications, things like that. An example would be you tell the system to utilize a birthday e-card, an e-card template that says, "Happy birthday, dear such and such." You set up a list that includes anybody who has a birthday, as specified in the birthday field within the client's information, and then you tell the system to send the birthday e-card to any client who has a birthday and to send it on the date of their birthday. And you set this campaign to run dynamically such that as you import new names or add new names, they get added to that process as well. So you set this up once beforehand, and all your clients get nice e-cards on their birthdays from you. That's the kind of thing we're going to be able to do with the marketing section, which is coming up in Module 2 training. So those are the important concepts for today. Just jumping back to the dashboard for a second to summarize. The concept behind the Client Connect system, which is the business management, and again, more pieces are going to be coming in as we go. We're going to be adding more bits and pieces moving along. That's the concept behind it. We saw the dashboard. We saw how to add different pieces of information and to move pieces of information around and to even create separate and custom dashboards for different views that you might want to engage in. We looked at the profile setup and picked some color schemes and so forth. We set up the Client Connect system to sync up to your Google Apps so that you can sync your contacts and your calendar appointments. And you saw some of the benefits behind those concepts. And then we saw how to learn more about clients just by entering names and email addresses to get social networking profiles and demographic information about whether they own their home and how much it's worth and all kinds of exciting insights about your contacts. So that is basically all the scripted presentation material I have for you today. Again, this is the introductory piece, but I want to thank you for engaging this webinar and taking a look at the introductory setup stuff. We will also be offering training videos that summarize these steps that we've looked at today, so Google Apps syncing, using a Gravatar, signing up for a Gravatar account, all the little things we discussed. So watch out for email announcements of the availability of those webinars. I'm going to throw it open for questions right now or additional comments or what have you. Joe has been assisting me with that. Thank you, Joe. And please stay tuned to this webinar or come to your local branch office for the Module 2 training that is coming up very soon. Thank you again for attending. I'll stick around here for a few minutes for additional comments and questions. Thanks for coming.